Hello everybody, Keith here again. Today I want to do my What's in Bloom at the end of the month video for April 2021. As usual, there's some that aren't here, some that new ones, and at least one that's got something to tell us all. So where shall we start? Well, with one that I don't think will be here for ever such a lot longer. This is the viniform, vinicolor form of Phalaenopsis. It's plain, standard format. Sibling has already gone, and somehow, as this is not that far behind it, I don't think it'll be here next month. Still very pretty, still growing a leaf, which is curious on a flowered fan, but the other Phalaenopsis is not the same as any of my other phals. They all grow more than one fan at a time, and this one doesn't seem to. So no sign of a new fan yet, I don't think, but we shall see. But that's Phalaenopsis, vinicolor form. Another path that's been around for a long time and is starting to change colour, which is indicative that this is on its way. And this is the last of the three Manny Eye blooms I've had this session. Very, very easy one to grow, and unlike, as I was just saying, the other one, we've got, well, there's one new growth here that's very nearly fully mature. There's two more. I doubt very much if you're going to see them, but there's two more down here that are just sprouting. So we're going to get several more fans. So it just shows you how the different phals, although they're in the same family, it's a very, very large family, of course, and you're inevitably going to get different behaviours. And if we're going with phals, I'll finish off with the big fella, the American hybrid. You keep thinking it can't possibly keep flowering for very much longer, because this has been in flower, it seems like a year. It's just huge length of time. And I don't know, it just keeps going. You cannot get an orchid that's any easy to keep. If you've got the space for it, you can grow it. Just treat it like a windowsill Phalaenopsis, and you're going to end up with a big plant like this. It hasn't been repotted in ages. It really will have to have that done. I'm not looking forward to it. There's a massive roots up against the wall of the pot, and this thing's got hairy roots which no doubt will stick like the proverbial to an army blanket. Dendrobiums then. This is the hybrid which I got as Akazuki. I don't think it is. Don't really know what it is. Several flowers have dropped. There's a couple more that are on the point of dropping, and the last two are not at their best anymore. So this won't be there next month. Slightly perturbed with this plant that the last new growth was much shorter but much thicker. So I suppose that's some kind of progress. The next new growth, it's not rocketing away, but it is moving, it's still going, there's another leaf coming. So I'm hoping that we're going to end up with a a big fat cane for flowering next time. Another nobly type of species, nobly, this one. This is virginale, which is a completely white bloom. There's no purple in this one at all. Not a terribly big plant yet. I don't know if this is typical of it, but it's a lot shorter than some of the other versions, because this is the first time it's grown for me. That's the first really big cane. We've got 2 new growth coming now and doing very nicely. So there's a good chance that this is going to go away. We've got lots of roots with green tips. So that is one that I think is going to do well in the future. The only thing is they do get very, very large. Talking of quite large, we've still got a few flowers left on the Spring Dream. Just a few. I don't think there's any signs of any more to come, but we've got a well-developed new growth there still going, and there's another that's just emerged. Trying to knock 7 bells out of it on the strutting for the roof, but there's another one down here by my finger end. So you might see it now, but anyway, just down there. So that's going to have 2 new growths on it, which is obviously very pleasing. And from the very large to the very small, this is Jenkinsii. Just the one flower this time, but this is the first time I've kept it. Got this last year from Zana Rapper as just a bare root cut in as a offset rather. I put it on a moss pad above bark to try and make sure that the pad didn't stay too soggy. The flower literally opened last night. Beautiful thing. There were 2 buds showing on the spike, but only one actually developed. You'll never see it because it's still quite small, but there is a new growth in there now. So that means it's time I'm going to move it, and because it's now bigger than this pot, I don't really want to try and do it again this way, although it's obviously reasonably content with how I've grown it. I'm going to mount it, more or less just lift this out, have a look at the moss. If the moss isn't very clever, I will get rid of as much of it as I can, make a new moss pad, and then put that onto the bark, and then strap it down, and we'll see where we go from there. It's worked remarkably well. I didn't really expect to do much with that, and we're doing okay. It's the one that I bought as Phalaenopsis Leodoro, which I don't think it is because it's not scented, and Leodoro is supposed to be, but as I think I said before, as I understand it, there were 2 crosses with the same parents, one way round and one the other way round for seed parent and pollen parent. The plants look, to all intents and purposes, identical. One has scent, one doesn't, and this one doesn't. It's an oddball at the moment. you're not supposed to cut these spikes. Unlike most flowers, this thing will flower, it'll branch, it'll do all sorts of things if you leave them alone, but it's not doing that much on these others. You keep seeing odd occasions when it's trying to do something on some of these other spikes, but not doing a fat lot. It's been a long time in this bark, at least a couple of years, and it's in a deep pot. So I think it's time this came out. I can see that there are some very good roots that are doing well, but there's also some roots which are not very clever. So I think that's got to come out of there before very much longer and be looked at, and that might give it the kickstart it needs to chuck some more leaves out. It's certainly putting roots out and everything else, but it's not actually going very far, very fast. So that needs a good coat of looking at. One of my two no ID flowers that have been in flower recently, the other one, the yellowish one that I got in Salisbury in March 2019, that's finished. This one is still keeping going, it's progressive. We've got some more buds at the end of the spike, although not too many more to go. This has recently been repotted, hasn't batted an eyelid, so we've now got flowers, we've got roots with new green tips and a new leaf as well, so this is doing okay for a no ID, quite a pretty one. I've had that for a little while now and I've been quite sorry to see it go. Couple more Phalaenopsis now. This one's Equestrius. Flowered once, but this one is a much better flowering, this second flowering than the first one. This was repotted fairly recently, put it into a slightly unusual mix for flowers. I put some little bit of moss, some perlite and charcoal in with it, mostly bark, but it seems to love it. It's putting out loads of roots. We've got another new leaf coming, we've got flowers. The keikie's now got 3 roots on. I've been advised by the East Midlands Orchid Society that it's Equestrius is very, very prone to keikie's. And that the best thing I can do with this, you don't cut them off and stick them in a separate pot. The thing to do with these is to run them a little bit like a strawberry, where you pin it down and let it find its way down into the bark. That's going to take a little bit of doing, I think, but it's something I'm going to have a play with, because somehow or other I've got to try and fasten 2 pots together so that when this one comes down, the stem still works. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. I've got to think about that, but it isn't desperate yet, but it's going to have to be done quite soon. So that's Phalaenopsis Equestrius, the standard form. There's a lot of flower buds on that stem, an awful lot. This is a much better flowering than the previous one. This is another one that I got from John Rapper last year. Last year? Yeah, probably last year. This is Phalaenopsis Manny Eye. I love these simpler flowers. The big ones are nice, don't get me wrong, they're great, they're really, really eye-catching and all the rest of it, but somehow the simplicity that these things have got, I just think works so well. So this is Phalaenopsis Manny Eye, yellow and brown. First flowering for me. It's grown quite well in this pot. We've got new roots coming out, so quite happy. Don't think it's going to need much doing with it for a little bit yet, although the pot feels quite full of root, which is obviously good. What's going to happen at the end of this spike, I'm not honestly sure, but there might be some more to come yet. But that's quite a pretty thing. I think that's really nice. my Catatantes at it again. To be absolutely honest, I'm amazed that I've got anything at all. I accidentally took the top off the spike when it was forming, and I thought, oh, that's done that then. Didn't cut it off any deeper, and we've now got two of the branches have formed. One's open, not quite all the way to the end, and the other one is you know, a little bit behind on that. But it's a shame I haven't got the great big 3 foot long spike with all the branches off it like I did before. But I'm happy to get anything off this because it's so pretty. We've got lots of new roots on this, we've got several new growths, and it's looking great. Very happy with that. One that is nothing whatever to do with me beyond buying it. This is an no-idea epidendrum. Somebody suggested ballerina. Not altogether sure. I'd love to see one as such. The photos of ballerina that I've seen appear on a photo, and you know that's not definitive, to have slightly bigger leaves. Roger Frampton has said the common hybrid that you're getting now is a series called Comet King, and the one that he's got, which is similar to this, is called Orange Star. It came home with me a few days ago from a garden centre at a really silly low price. Couldn't put it away. I did not want to buy any more orchids. I haven't really got room for it, but it's just so eye-catching. We've got two more flowering canes coming. There's lots of roots down at the bottom. We've got cakeys and I think new growth. We'll wait and see what they turn into. But it's in peat. I'm being extremely careful how much water it gets. And I'm spraying all the roots twice a day at the moment, just to keep it ticking over until I've got a few spare hours and I can repot it into something a little bit more suitable for my conditions. But to my mind, this is just glorious. I've not actually seen one to know it. They don't seem to be all that common, certainly not in garden centres. So I was chuffed with this. I mean, it's mass produced, just come from Holland. The owner of the garden centre is quite chatty, and she said they buy stuff from a supplier in Holland that offers them some less common things. They're quite happy to buy a few less common orchids, and she's already said somebody had commented how unusual it was to see these, and I was the second one to really pick it up, so I'm really pleased with that. The orange with the red, and that one, sorry, that one I've been showing is not quite good, but I don't know how well you can see it, but you've got the orange on the flower, and then you've got red and orange on the lip. So that's an epidendrum hybrid, no idea epidendrum hybrid. Now a plant with a tale to tell. This is a Miltonia, one of the breathless hybrids. When it came, it had a very dark lip. The lip was very nearly the same colour as the upper petals and sepals. This time it's not. Sarah thought it would darken. It really hasn't. This was the first one to open. This was the second. We've got 3 more buds on this spike. They are trying to do something. You can see the colouring, but I think this has got damage. There's little signs of damage at this junction. So whether they'll actually develop, I don't know. There are 2 more spikes on the plant. There's one there. There's another one in here, half hidden by the leaves. Now, as I've said before, this one had me nearly in tears because, in fact, there were 2 spikes per new growth, and because it wasn't getting the leaves misted often enough, and I wasn't holding it up to the light to check because I didn't know when it was likely to flower, I missed that, and as such the other 3 spikes got totally tied up in the bracts and didn't emerge either at all or properly. So it is something for me to be aware of, for you to be aware of. If you keep these, it's doing very well. It's in morning sunlight. It's on a southeast facing windowsill, so it gets morning sunshine, bright morning sunshine. Sometimes it's taking it absolutely fine. There's no signs of sunburn or anything like that. It's been upstairs on a northwest facing windowsill through the winter where it's grown, but as I say, I did not spray it on the leaves. I didn't realise it was necessary. One nice thing I've noticed is we have got some new growths beginning to emerge at the base of these bulbs. So this is a plant which I've got high hopes for keeping for a little while yet at least. So that's Phalaenopsis breathless, although quite which one of those in the range of that hybrid I don't actually know. So that's the first group. There's a few more left yet to do. So I'll put these away, stop the video, and we'll come back with the rest. Okay, back again. Only got 5 in this little bit just to round off. Basically the first lot are all the ones I keep downstairs, either in here or on downstairs windowsills, and the others are all from upstairs, probably slightly cooler, northwest facing windowsills. Sorry, southwest facing windowsills. The Restrepias and the Masdevallia have been taken upstairs to try and give them a little bit of cooler conditions, because in here, once the day started to brighten, we got temperatures easily up to 30, so it was obviously way too warm for them, so they've gone upstairs and are looking okay so far. So what's in flower? Well, this phal, which somebody suggested is Fuller's Sunset Golden Sun, is flowering nicely. We've got some more buds to come. This has been moved upstairs. It was showing some signs of distress. It was on the northeast facing front windowsill. It appears that it was getting a little bit too much sun for it. There was some sort of purpley colour on some parts of it. In others it was showing signs of starting to bleach. So I'll move that one upstairs. It's in active growth. We've got new root tips emerging on old root, we've got branches appearing, new roots coming from the main stem. No sign of a new leaf yet, but this is one that's coming back now, coming back very strongly, which I'm pleased about because it's one of the older plants I've got. One I nearly killed, and in the early days it's taken a long time to come back, but now it's starting to come back and come back strong, which is great. The rather unusual Zygonicia Rhine Blue Angel. It's unusual, slightly bizarre perhaps, of a Zygopetalum type. Like all of them, it flowers on an extremely immature pseudobulb. There's another new growth just here that's growing well. That one is starting to put roots out. So this is a plant that is very happy. Whether it's more tolerant than other Zygopetalums, I don't know. I repotted and split my other one last year. It really didn't like that. Really did not like that. It was perhaps a little bit too drastic for it. It's taken this long to come back, and it's probably 15 months now since I did it. It's still not really going like it used to. We haven't done any flowers off it this year, so we'll see. But this is Zygonicia Rhine Blue Angel. One that never seems to stop flowering, this is Phalaenopsis Manny Eye. It's a mad plant. It branched off that spike virtually straight away, although that branch has now finished flowering. There's still a few flowers on the main thing. I thought it was going to go into vegetative growth because it's just putting roots out, but instead we've got not one spike, we've actually got another one on the other side as well. So it baffles me, to be honest. All I can do is keep belting fertiliser into it and hope it's all right. Like the other one I talked about earlier, it's been in this pot, Leodoro, it's been in this pot a long time. It went into a deep pot because the roots it had were very long. Been in here a long time, so it'll probably not very great down in the bottom of this pot. So I'll have that out before long, probably before it starts to flower off those others, and we'll see what we can find. But if it's flowering like this, is there a lot wrong with it? You've got to ask yourself. Don't know. This is a Rhine hybrid. It's supposed to be Amayani crossed with Monachica. I've seen another photograph of this cross and it looks nothing whatsoever like this. This looks much more like Monachica. So whether it's just one seedling that's taken all of its coloration from one side, I don't know. Grows very slowly. Flowers once a year. The flowers don't last a huge amount of time. I don't find them particularly attractive. But there you are, it's a thing I keep successfully, and on the whole, if I can keep it successfully, I tend to keep it. If somebody offered me a a Rhinanthera that had a brighter colour scheme than this one, I might well swap it, but otherwise, no, I'll keep that where it is. Just to prove I can grow some kind of Vandas, because my other Vandas are not looking very happy at the moment. I'm not sure why. Neither of them's done very well. And last, least, well possibly, you could argue that this is Restrepia, try and get the blessed thing in focus. This is Restrepia Sanguinia, one that Roger Frampton's just bought also from Burnham's. Really attractive dark flower. This is one that I repotted not all that long ago. It hasn't missed a beat. It's obviously put this other flower out, so suggests it's not particularly unhappy. No signs of any new growth, but we have got an unflowered leaf, which suggests that's one of the new ones. Another one over there which hasn't flowered. So it's been repotted. It seems happy as it flowered since I did that. So we'll see. But when all's said and done, we're coming up to the wrong time of year for these to flower in the UK. So to flower, to grow, I mean, in the UK. It might well do something more later in the year when it pulls off again. Right, that's the end of the in bloom at the end of the month. There was one other that I might have shown, that was the Dendrobium tetragonum, but the flowers are about to drop. They've gone down. And all that thing's been flowering and flowering and flowering. I can't see any more green knobs suggesting any more flowers coming. It's gone mad this year. No signs of new growths or anything, so I'll keep my fingers crossed it's going to do something. And next month we should have some more to show. I think certainly there's an Oncidium wildcat. It'll be open. It'll be open in the next few days. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.